good afternoon, and happy Friday. Should I say ho ho ho? Merry Christmas to you. Hi everyone. Once again, this is our last and final coaching conversation series. And today, the time is 2 o'clock. UK, wherever you are in China, you are in the Middle East, you are in Africa, you are in UK, you are in Europe. Welcome to our last finale. It's my pleasure today to welcome my good friend and also alumni from Cambridge University. So, who is this person? Alisa Barcan. Alisa is a founder of Survey Corner. So, what is Survey Corner? It's a safe place for you, your business, to come and talk about something that none of us love talking about. That is money, which I call it taboo. But listen, today we are going to have an interactive coaching webinar. So before I give more input to our audience, as I do all the time, give you the etiquette of housekeeping. So this is virtually. So my advice is that if you are sitting down, please sit nicely. The chair, your posture is very important because these days we spend most of our time in virtually. So it's critical you sit properly. Please do so. Now, if we were in a classroom, I would say the ladies to my right, the gentleman to my left. And if the alarm goes off, please wait. But of course, we are not on that anymore. We are now on virtually. So the etiquette is have a cup of tea. I've got my coffee here. You know I love coffee. So my coffee was important. I've got my hat on. I've got my Christmas jumper, which of course we are in the mood of Christmas. And of course, I've got a studio all set up here. And most important, I've got a lady for today, Alisa Barcan. Today's topic that we are going to discuss is something that I do believe it will change more of our lives. As a coach, as an entrepreneur, I've seen some people online. So before I bring our guest of today, I'm going to put some on the charts. As my followers know, please use the charts for anything. And today's, let me go to the charts. So what is our first topic or first chart to get you engaged this afternoon? Now the question is, what is your projection for 2021? And now may I welcome Miss Alisa Barcan. Please be my guest.
Hi, Eric. Thank you for having me. And hello, everyone who is joining us live today. And hello to the ones who will be watching the recording of this. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to talk about what you call taboo, Eric, to talk about money and to talk about building a financially viable coaching business, getting clients, and creating a business doing what you love, which is my passion now. So I'm really, really excited about our conversation today.
Excellent. So before we go further, who is Miss Alisa?
Oh, so many things so many identities, right? But the Alisa who is in front of you today is Alisa the coach and Alisa the business owner. So I have started my career not being a coach, like pretty much every other coach that I know. I started my career being an accountant. And I qualified as an accountant in the UK, but as you can probably tell from my accent, I was not born in the UK. I came here from Romania in 2009 as a student to do a master's degree. And then I stayed. I enjoyed the country, I enjoyed the people, and I got involved in several different things. And here I am after what? 11 years, I'm still here. So I started my career as an accountant, and I then moved into more commercial roles, business analysis, commercial analysis, until I discovered coaching in 2017. And before that, I had no contact with coaching. I had no idea what coaching was. And when I first discovered it, I was so blown away that I knew immediately this is what I wanted to do. But still, I wanted to do a type of coaching that would incorporate the skills that I already had, and to bring in, other coaching skills like listening with intent and so on. But I didn't want to leave behind my love for numbers, and therefore I became a financial coach. I worked with people for quite a while, helping them with their personal finances. And things evolved, but because I had a background in accountancy and a background in business, I ended up working with quite a lot of people on the business side of things. And I realized how much I enjoyed that as well. And for the past 2 years, kind of behind the scenes, I have been working with coaches, helping them to build a successful coaching business. And as of probably 4 months now, I officially work with coaches, and I call myself a financial and business coach. And I work with people talking about money, but in a different context, in the context of a business. And I talk to them about money from the point of view of selling your own coaching services, and how do you price your coaching services? How do you talk about money with your clients? How do you sell yourself, not only your services, and so on? So this is, in a nutshell, um, who Alisa Barcan is, the one that's standing here in front of you today.
Excellent. That is great. I mean, I love that you've been here 11 years. I arrived 2001, December 21st, almost 20 years ago. And I tend to study as well. I, of course, study working in banking. And then here I am, 20 years, I'm still here, enjoying the beauty of London, which is a great time. Anyway, so today's topic to the audience is coaching for living. Coaching for living. Now, those that I've seen comments, so let's see who is online. Sharaf Osman. Hi, great. Hi, Shaman Sharas. Please. So if I got the name wrong, Sharas Osman. Hi. Please comment if you can. So we are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So you can comment as you go along. So the topic: how to get clients as a coach and build a business doing what we love. Should we do and elaborate that because it's a big topic to talk about?
Mm. Well, it is a big topic. It's for some people can be an overwhelming topic when they think about, okay, now I need to build a business. Where do I even start? Because there are so many things and so many variables to consider. And, many people become coaches because they love coaching, not because they love business. So this is a completely new area for a lot of people. But it doesn't have to be as complicated as that. I think that if we are to simplify things, you only really need three essential things to start a business. And the first one is to have a very well defined coaching niche and ideal customer, and to do extensive research on who is it that you are going to serve. The second one is to have a coaching offer that is relevant and attractive to that client that you've identified. And thirdly, you need to have a platform, whether it's LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook or another platform, where you can start to give value, to talk about the work that you do as a coach, and to make offers to people who might be interested in your help. If you have those three things to start with, you are there. You don't need anything else as at the very beginning of your business. Of course, you need insurance and you need a contract, but these are things that are implied already. However, you don't need a website necessarily. You don't need to have a huge audience. You will start to build that audience as you go along. You only need a niche, you need an offer, and you need a platform.
Right.
So I think
So
to simplify things, three things is all you need to start a business.
awesome. So you need social scope. Am I right?
Sorry, say that again.
You need a social element, like having that platform to come get your client out there. But before we jump into that, I've got a few questions I want to ask to go engage with our audience. So, audience, please use the chat button to comment. So, the first one is, what is your projection for 2021? It's been a tough year for almost every one of us, both personal, financial, everything. So, what is your projection for 2021? Second question that I'll put on the chat is, who is your ideal client? Please comment and then let us know. So, Alisa, I've got first question. What is essential of a successful coaching business? What's essential for coaching business?
It's exactly the same. So what I've said with the niche, the platform, and a coaching offer, that applies for any coaching business. Those are the essential elements that you would be looking at to start a business. After, you will have to also become comfortable talking about your offer and basically selling that offer to other people. And you might want to think about growing your audience and creating perhaps an email list, which is an asset that you control so that you can have direct access to those people and not be dependent on the middleman, which is the whatever platform you choose to use. But for the beginning, these are the essentials. There's nothing else that you need. And a lot of people believe that there is more. You need a website and no, you don't. You just need to have it very clear who you help, how you help them, and to have a platform where you can share that with people. And if you give value consistently, people will be interested in what you have to say.
Good point that you raised the point of website, because these days everyone wants to have a website, a flashy website with logos, with imagery, with content after content after content. So you say you just need the niche clients, just one platform, that should be fine.
Yes, well, I'm not saying a website, a great looking website full of content is not a good idea, but in the beginning, that will take a long time to put together. It will also be quite costly depending on who you work with to create that website for you. And if people don't really know about you, they don't know who you are, you will see that there will be very little traffic going to that website in the very beginning. So my strategy when I started was always, how can I leverage the power of a bigger platform than what my website would be and become known there so that I can then bring traffic into my website. I didn't have a website for probably the first year or maybe even more after I started. I started on LinkedIn and that was my platform of choice and that was it.
Excellent. So, audience, we have Paolo. Paolo, hi, good afternoon, and happy Friday. Right, we've got comment here. Coach can give us the best advice, etc. But new starter need banks you don't entertain without history. Before, in early days, people grew organically. Are we on the same page? I think yes. So, yes, of course, you need to transaction, you need a bank to get your client to, but we share up good point on that. We'll come back onto that aspect, but we will touch base on that. So, what is the importance of having a coaching niche? So this is something that is critical as a coach.
Yeah, your coaching niche and your ideal customer will form the basis of everything that you build after that, because everything you create as a coach, everything you put out there in terms of value should be with your client in mind. Because if you want to get clients, they need to see your content and your message as being extremely relevant to them and to the problems that they are um, encountering at this point in time, either in their lives, their business, depending on the type of coaching that you do. So in theory, we train as coaches and we could coach anyone, but in practice, trying to be a coach for anyone and everyone will appeal to no one, really. And I see a lot of people who advertise their services using very vague language, such as I can help you change, I can help you reach your potential, I can help you find your purpose. And those kinds of concepts are trying to appeal to a wide audience, but nobody is waking up in the middle of the night thinking, I can't sleep because I have not reached my potential, right? People don't really think in those terms. That is way too broad to highlight exactly the problem that the client is facing. So that is the power of a niche and having an ideal customer, is that it helps you to narrow down your message and to put together value that is relevant to a particular type of client and pretty much ignored by the rest. And we shouldn't be afraid as coaches to not appeal to everyone. We should be very focused to appeal to a particular type of person or organization, depending on where we work, and to not be afraid that the others will ignore us. That's a good sign. It means that our message has hit the mark with the people that we wanted us to hit the mark with. So having a niche and an ideal customer will narrow down that message so that it becomes extremely relevant for some people. And because of that, because you now have a niche and an ideal client, you will be able to put together a coaching offer that is extremely relevant and very attractive to that particular client. And that's what makes people buy. The fact that what you're offering is exactly what they need. It's basically a solution to a problem.
Right. So on this note, you mentioned about the niche. Myself, executive coach, business coach, you into creating a platform for people to generate more business. So do we identify or classify or differentiate that someone could be a transitional coach, like I do it for my corporate clients, or someone could be business coach, career coach? How can we have that and then able to spread out to get our best clients within the nature that we're looking for?
Mm-hmm. Um, so you're basically saying, how do I know how to choose my niche in the first place, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I am a big advocate that you shouldn't ignore what you already have in terms of skills and passions when you choose your niche. So I think that a coaching niche should be at the intersection between your passion, what you love doing, what you would see yourself doing even if you didn't get paid for it, your experience, what you're very good at and what you're very efficient at, and also the skills that you bring forward from a previous career, perhaps, or even your existing career, and the demand on the market. This is really important. You might have a passion for something and experience in it, but if there isn't enough people who are willing to buy it and pay for it, then you will have a hobby, not a business. So the demand on the market is really important. That's where the research comes in. But the good news is that there is plenty of demand for coaching in general, because coaching has been a growing industry and is projected to continue to grow in the future. So we know the demand is there, but the question is, on the market that you are looking to enter, is there demand for that particular type of coaching? So that's your coaching niche. And by that, I mean executive coach, business coach, relationship coach, career coach, whatever it might be. But then inside of this coaching niche, you have to also choose a client, which that client might be an individual or an organization, and you need to know them in great detail, including their characteristics and demographics if you're working with individuals, industry and company size and revenue and culture if you're working with organizations, but most importantly, what are the problems that they are dealing with that you can help them solve. So that's kind of, there's two elements to finding a niche. There's the coaching niche, the coaching area that you want to coach in, and then there's the person or the organization that you are going to help within that coaching area.
I
That's how
agree.
I go about it.
Yeah, I agree on that point. I think it's very great you mentioned that, and I believe that when I was we both in Cambridge, I think what I love about the course in Cambridge was that they teach you a way to find your niche. And for me, when I was in the course, I didn't know who are my clientele, who be my niche client. And so recently, just before lockdown, first one in back in March, I believe so, and I felt that actually I've been director, corporate director, corporate level many years. That's my niche because I still do have my clientele that I can talk into. So I think you're right with regards to knowing your past and then bringing that to that scope. So, example, someone could be a professor, a
Mm,
doctor, accountant. You can use that as a benchmark and see this is my niche area. Or you could be a transitional coach.
yeah, I think it's important to keep in mind your experience, your prior experience. And when we do our coaching qualifications, one of the things um, we are taught that you don't need necessarily to be an expert in a particular area to be a good coach, and that's absolutely true. However, when it comes to marketing, you have to back yourself up with something, right? And that something will be the credibility that you have as a professional, especially as a new coach, right? You might not have credibility as a coach yet because you don't have any experience and you are building that up, but you might have credibility as someone who has worked, in my case, with numbers for a long time, right? As someone who knows business, as someone who used to be a trusted advisor inside a company, right? And you want to bring all of that into your coaching business with you if you can, because it gives people trust that you know what you're doing in this space, and that if you were successful in that endeavor, you're probably going to be successful going forward because you're using the same skills.
Agreed, 100%. Now, moving on. What makes a coaching offer? What makes a good coaching offer? What that means is that when we're in Cambridge, I mean, it never gives you this the price tag. There's someone you charge people, you have them the package benefits 6 months and so forth. How we coaches or even entrepreneur, I put in general entrepreneur, how do we mix that bench or that scope that I've got a program, this is my for my clients.
Mm. I think it's important for the coaching offer, for the client to see the coaching offer as a potential answer to the specific problem that they are dealing with at that point in time, or specific problems. And I see this mistake all the time. People put together a coaching offer that only contains features. And by features, I mean, my coaching offer is this 12 sessions of coaching of 1 hour each that are done every 2 weeks with email support in between and 4 accountability calls, right? And that's it. Well, that's not really a solution to someone's problem because people don't walk around thinking, oh, I'd like to buy some coaching. Some people don't even know what coaching is, to be honest. And if you are a coach and you know the value of coaching, you might be thinking, yeah, okay, I might go and buy and purchase some sort of coaching engagement. But most people don't think like that. They don't want to pay to spend a few hours with a coach. They want to pay to get a problem solved. So instead of limiting ourselves only to features, we want to add in the benefits of working with us. So, what can the client expect to get in terms of results if they are to engage in a coaching conversation with us? What are the benefits of working with us?
Mhm, mhm.
What is there that exists on the market that could potentially be a solution to what the client is looking
Yeah,
for, but how is our offer different or better, or how are we filling a gap that exists in this market that nobody else is offering, and we come in and we fill that gap. So that is what starts to make an offer relevant and attractive to the client. It also has to have an attractive price compared to the value that that client is getting from working with us. And ideally, the price would be a fraction of the total value that they're getting. So that also comes into the mix of putting together a good coaching offer.
On that note, let me bring in like we have the current these days. Everyone say I'm doing bono bono. Uh, what is your view? Because of course you want to have a program, 6 months. You want to have your fee. You want to have benefits package. Would you say okay? I'll add pro bono, or do you say okay? This is my price tag.
Well, I do believe in pro bono work, but as a choice, not because no one wants to work with you and therefore you work pro bono so you can make some hours of coaching, right? In the beginning, when people qualify, they sometimes need to make up a certain number of hours of coaching before they can qualify. And sometimes it is mentioned that those cannot be paid hours, right, as a student. So they do pro bono coaching in
Yeah.
essence so that they can accumulate those number of hours. I also see new coaches doing working for free in the beginning to get a bit of experience under their belt and maybe some testimonials and so on. But beyond that, free coaching doesn't really work as a tactic to get paying clients, right? Like we think that people are going to see how amazing coaching is and then they will want to pay for it. But the thing is, if you coach them for free and they've already got the most of the results from it, why would they come back and want to pay you for that? However, pro bono in the sense of I want my business to have a charitable arm to it, right? And I will be doing this coaching for free here. If you do that as a choice, that's okay, but you need to think about this. Your other side of the business needs to be able to fund your pro bono work, because otherwise you will be giving, putting a lot of effort and time into here, and you risk ignoring this other part that is going to sustain you financially, and you might end up in a position where you are having revenue issues or cash flow issues or are not able to meet the costs in your business. So if you are going to do pro bono, think about how does that fit in with the
Mhm.
rest of my business, and where am I finding the money to fund my pro bono work. Because remember, if you're doing one-to-one coaching, you only have 24 hours in the day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anything that you do here has an opportunity cost somewhere else, right? And you need to think in terms of that. But I do pro bono work as well, and I am intentional about it. And it works as long as it's not the whole business that's pro bono, because it's not actually a business
No.
anymore. It becomes a hobby.
Yeah. Now, on that note, guys, we are live on LinkedIn, so you can comment LinkedIn, you can comment on Facebook, you can comment on YouTube. So please do not feel shy. We are in a Christmas mood, so just enjoy it. Now, mention of that prono basis, prono program, and also the fee. Let's now go into the critical aspects,
Mm.
which I call a taboo. The reason is that, let me put it this way: we said money is the root of all evil. Am I right? That's just, and none of us want to talk about money. So the question is, why do we get shy as a coaches in general? Talk about these aspects, and what can we do to break that barrier?
Mm. I think there's several reasons why we might be shy or reluctant to discuss money as coaches. And one of the expressions that I hear the most, both with my clients and other coaches that I talk to, is, well, I'm not in this for the money. I didn't start my business in order to make money. I started it because I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to help people and so on. And fair enough. That's why I started my business too. I'm not saying that you should start your business in order to make money. However, that belief can be very dangerous when you start to treat your business as a hobby because you're not thinking of it as something that could produce money.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this in, I have a YouTube channel. So one of my videos, I talk about this and I say, it's a myth to say that money is not important. Of course, love and happiness and kindness, they're all more important than money. However, money is not important as long as you have some. When you don't have any, it quickly becomes the number one priority and it becomes really, really important. So I think that's one of the reasons, people not thinking that I'm not in this for the money, therefore they're reluctant to discuss this aspect. But also it's because it makes them uncomfortable. Like you say, we all grow up with certain beliefs, and some of them might be money is the root of all evil and so on. And depending on how we were brought up and the kind of what we saw in our family with regards to money, the way that we treat our own money and the relationship that we have with our personal finances will also reflect on how we deal with money in our business. So I think it's a combination of that, and also the fact that, a lot of people come into coaching because they love coaching, but they don't really love business, or they don't know a lot about business and how to make it into a successful business. And when they hear about sales, they go, oh, no, 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 that's too much for me. That's pushy. That's sleazy. I hate it. I would rather do anything else but try and sell my services. And that's another mindset issue that really needs to change when you become a business owner, because you cannot see selling as separate from business. It's a normal part of business and you have to come to terms with that. But I think it's a combination of those things as to why people feel so uncomfortable to talk about their prices and money in general. Also, a lot of people don't know how to price their services, and therefore they are always questioning, I wonder if this is too expensive. I wonder what they're going to say, if it's affordable, blah, blah, blah. And therefore, that makes it even more difficult to discuss the issue of money.
So on that note, can we say can you become a business person? I put it away, a business owner, a sales, or a coach? Because what I'm trying to say here is that when I was in the banking industry as your accountant, it's all about figures, performance. You become
Mm-hmm.
a coach, you for how do I sell a product? So you are now from the back office into now front office because you're selling.
Mm.
So the question is that can you become a salesperson at the same time a coach?
You have to. if you want to, if you want your business to succeed, you have to come to terms that you are a salesperson. However, even for people who are not business owners, right, don't have to sell anything, what they don't realize is that we are all selling something, including, beginning with ourselves.
Mhm.
Like when you go to an interview, for example, as an employee, you have to sell yourself to that new company or for that new role, right? In front of the interview panel. You have to sell your skills, but not only that, you have to sell your personality and how you would fit inside a team and so on. It's the same with coaches. It's the same with anyone, really. We're always selling something. The idea is to do it consciously rather than selling unconsciously and not having anything to say about it, right? You just, people see it and either they relate to it or they don't. So I think we are constantly selling, at least ourselves. So we might as well just become comfortable with the idea and try and be more intentional about it, learn more about sales. And when I say sales, it doesn't have to be cold calling or sending a message saying, would you like to buy this, when you've only connected with someone, right? when you're a coach, selling becomes quite easy because you give so much value. If you know who your ideal client is, you start to give value to them, and that client starts to follow you on a journey from being someone who's only stumbled across your content to someone who is now very interested of whether what you do could be of use to them and whether you could help them as a coach. So the selling simply becomes a conversation of you matching a solution to someone's problem. Like, how difficult is that, right? When you think of it like that, selling is no more than matching a solution to a problem. Let me give you an example. This is an example that I give during some of the courses that I teach. Let's say you have a conversation with a friend, and that friend says to you, "Oh, you know, I really should work on my negotiation skills. I just had an interview, and I wasn't able to negotiate my salary." Whatever. You happen to have just read a book about negotiation, and you start to tell that person, "Oh, have you heard about this book? This book is amazing, and it's so easy to read, and it has got humor in it, and blah blah blah." And you start talking about why the book would be a good solution to their problem. And then they say, "Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to buy that book. You've piqued my interest here, and I think it's going to help me, so I'm going to buy the book." What you've done is to sell that book to your friend. Now, whether they buy it from you or not, or they buy it from Amazon, that's not the point. You still had a sales conversation. So that is the power of looking at sales in a very different way. And it should help you in your business as well. If you don't see it as something like in your face, cold calling, pushing people to buy, but rather helpful, right? This is the way that I look at it.
On that note, let me bring something that it got on my nerves. Use the word. Sorry, my etiquette. I try not to be that more critical to other people. So in each day or a week, I will get at least 20 emails on my inbox on LinkedIn. Hello, Eric Francis. I'm a coach. I help generate leads up to 10,000 leads, and then you pay this and that. Now, we all get it. And I hate this email because first, they don't know what I do, who I am, how I work with my clients. All what they want is to get me leads. Of course, some of them can be genuine, but 99% they're not. So, what is your view on that? I know you do get this kind of stuff. Do we buy into those leads to get clients and sell products? Or do we just say, you know what, this is my niche? This is how to engage and get the right clientele.
Yeah, no, I think those types of emails and messages are the reason why people, when they hear sales, they go, "Oh no, that's so terrible. I don't want that," because that's what they see as people who are trying to sell them something. But that's not what I'm talking about here. And I know exactly what you mean because I receive those messages all the time and I ignore them completely because I'm thinking, well, if you are trying to sell me something like this is probably the way that you would contact the leads that you're sending my way. And I don't want my client's first experience to be that because I know what it feels like to be on the other side, right? So I would definitely not take that route at all. It's basically a numbers game. Throw spaghetti at the wall and send this to as many people as possible. And some of them might fall into the trap of saying yes because, let's face it, there are a lot of great coaches out there who have been trying for a while to get clients and to make this business work, and it didn't happen. So they might be thinking, well, what's the harm in it? What have I got to lose if I try this as well? But there's a better way of doing it via offering value and knowing exactly how you can help people. And then people come to you rather than you having to chase them without even knowing them and making this blatantly in your face offer that clearly, like you say, they didn't read your profile, they haven't made research about you, and that's not what we're advocating here. If you know your client and your ideal niche intimately enough, you will have done a lot of research, and therefore you know that they hate receiving this kind of message, so you wouldn't be doing that. So yes, it's unfortunate that we see so many of them happening at the moment. My guess is that someone's teaching them to do that, saying it's a good technique. But I have never heard any coach who said, "Oh yes, I've used that service and it worked brilliantly for me."
Audience, I think you could hear that our network is be not today, so bear with us. As you know, we are in a lockdown, so everyone is using internet these days, so you could see there's a lot of breaks. So apologies for that. I've got this question that I want to throw to you and see your view. So I was coaching a client before the third tier that we're now on lockdown. Technically, I mean we're lockdown. And then she said to me that, oh, now we've reduced, we are now not face to face anymore. We are now virtually. So the price is to change. I said to the lady, my client, that it's not the right way because the same value you're getting. I'm giving you the same objectives, the same goals that you want. So, what is your view on the price tag of from face to face to virtually? Do you say, okay, I will change it, but at the same time,
No, I'm not an advocate of changing the price because you are now coaching virtually. My coaching has always been virtually, and I've started with the prices that I started, and those would have been what I would have charged if I were to do face-to-face offline coaching as well. Because, like you say, it's not really the environment that you're selling, is it? It's the value that you're offering, and coaching can be just as valuable offline, online, over the phone, and I don't know, in any other way that we can communicate. So I don't think that I don't see why the price would change if the environment would change. Of course, if you have to travel to see people in person and you have to fly abroad or whatever, then that adds to your costs. So it makes sense to incorporate that. If you, let's say, you have a corporate client that you go and visit 3 times a year and it's a long haul flight. But other than that, I don't see why the prices would differ at all.
I agree because I mean, on a serious note, the value that you are getting doesn't change. And I think even before the lockdown, most businesses were online. I mean, example of a client in the US, in Africa. I don't travel there. I still give the same services as I'm meeting there. Of course, I would love to travel maybe once every 6 months and meet them face to face. But it's important that we all understand that changing your price tag, that oh, face to face different from virtual, I don't think is good as a coach. You got to have that on a serious note, I've got to have the value, giving the value to the coachee or the clientele. Now let's move into in the scope. How to position ourselves to more expert in our field.
Um, so I lost you there for a moment and I only heard, how do you position yourself as an expert in your field? Was that your question?
Correct, yes. How to position yourself as expert in your field.
Yeah, so if we remind everyone of the conversation we had about how to find a niche, and I said that I'm an advocate of finding it at the intersection between your passion, your experience, and the demand on the market, I think that experience will be very valuable for new coaches to give them some sort of backing, to give them some sort of credibility when they're only just starting out, because of course they won't have much experience as a coach, but they will have a lot of experience as a professional, and therefore that will be their starting point. When I started my coaching business, I had no experience as a coach, but I was a prize winner, chartered certified accountant. I was a qualified coach from Cambridge University, right? All of that matters in the beginning when you don't have anything else to fall onto. However, you also have to start to be smart about how you leverage all the opportunities that come your way. So let's say that you're a student coach and you are doing some free coaching sessions as part of your qualification, right? All of those sessions can become evidence of you becoming an expert in your field. What I mean by that is that you can ask for testimonials and recommendations from those people. You can ask for permission for you to write a case study around the coaching engagement that you've had with a particular client and to describe what was their situation at the beginning of starting to work together, what were their problems, what did they start to try to do to solve it and it didn't work. How did your coaching work and how did that help solve some of the issues, and where are the client, where are they now, and what's their projection for the future? So you can leverage those opportunities to get as much from them as possible in order to establish yourself as an expert. And I would say you have to build an SEO authority as well. What do I mean by that? If you Google your name, what comes up in the search result? When I started the business, if I Googled my name, there was my LinkedIn profile and some other stuff that I had done before I started to work as a coach. But now, if you Google my name, there's a lot that comes up, including my LinkedIn profile, but also my website, which is at the moment of filming this is under maintenance. But there's the University of Cambridge that comes up. There is Harvard Business Review because I am a contributor for them, and there's other like my YouTube channel and other podcasts and interviews that I've done, and that kind of creates a portfolio for me that lives online and it positions me as an expert. All of my Medium articles and my guest blog post articles that I've written for other people, they all show up and they are all relevant for my ideal customer because I am intentional about the content that I put out there because I only want it to appeal to them and not to anyone else. So that is kind of how you start. You start with the experience that you have right now and you start to build up on it and you start to build a portfolio and an SEO authority to position yourself as an expert. Being an expert doesn't mean that you know everything. It means that you are focused on a particular subject and you are willing to learn yourself as you go along and to bring other people with you and to help them. So I think a lot of new coaches experience these what you might call imposter syndrome. Oh, I don't know enough. I'm not good enough. I don't have enough years of experience. How can I compete on the market when some people have been coaching for decades? That's not the point. You can bring in a fresh perspective on that market that has been dominated by a few people for the last couple of decades, let's say, and that could be a revelation for the people who are looking for that exact type of thing and they cannot find it from the existing providers, let's say. So that's why it's so important to carve your own niche, and that's how you become an expert, step by step, little by little.
Like my mom was said, little drop of water make a mighty ocean. So the more
Yes.
you add up, you know. So I think I'm going to add this. You can also have you mentioned actually mentioned a writing testimonial, feedback, recommendation. I mean on my LinkedIn, that's what I'm good at. Anytime I coach a client, I ask them, would you kindly please write me a recommendation? And that's powerful because I'm using that on my program. I'm using that as this is what I've done. This is my proof that client can trust me of what I'm giving to them. You also mentioned SEO, which is
Hmm.
powerful because these days it is, I mean, it is people want to know who you are because
Yeah.
the social scope with LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube is powerful.
Mm.
So if let's say someone type my name, Eric Francis Menu, I've got all these links, my interviews on Financial Times and so forth. So you can't run away, but people will get to know you of your niche, get to know you of how they can come to you for advice, and also to hire you as a coach. On that note, we've got 12 minutes. So I'll not rush, but I've got other questions that let me throw it to you. On the scope of, let's say, the mindsets of building a business as a coach. I've asked this before, and also as a salesperson. We are moving to next year, 2021. Of course, no one knows what will happen. We've got the vaccination for COVID-19, which is good. What is your projection of next year? The coaching market is saturated, is so overcrowded. Everyone call themselves a coach with no qualification, no certified, no course, just a coach. How do we set ourselves apart to those that claim to be coach? And of course, the projection that there's no demand for us coaches.
Yeah, it's funny you asked that because I actually just filmed a video about this, and I called it the toxic beliefs that affect the revenue that you can make in your business. And one of those beliefs was that the coaching market is saturated. So how am I going to come in, and who's going to want to work with me? Basically, there's so many people, and I agree that there's a lot of people on the market who call themselves coaches, but really what they're offering is not coaching, and that confuses the audience, right? It confuses the people who don't know what coaching is, and it brings in them some expectations that they have of a coach, including, oh, I'm going to sell a done for you service because that's what coach X down the road does, whatever it is that they're selling as a coach, right? But I think as coaches, as qualified coaches, we know what the value of coaching is, and we know what coaching means. And I think it is our duty to educate people in understanding what coaching is and what coaching is not. And instead of comparing ourselves or trying to match our prices to those of our coaching competitors, we start to talk about the value that coaching can offer, and instead price our services based on that value rather than based on everything else that other people are doing on the market and calling it coaching, right? So I think there's something important here to keep in mind, is that your services will be valuable, but not in a vacuum. You can be offering the exact same service to someone and they might say, no, I don't want it. It's not valuable for me. Like, for example, if you're a divorce coach and you take your coaching services to a happily married couple, they're not going to want to pay anything for it because they don't need that type of service. But if you take this service to someone who is going through a divorce, they might want to pay a premium for it because that is exactly what they need. But the service is the same. You have not changed anything about the service. So the value is in what the client is getting from that service. The value is relative to the client, not to your services. And if you can talk about that value and express it in a way that is relevant to them, in a way that resonates with them, using language that they use to describe their problems and their ideal solutions, that's where the value comes. And that's, you're not competing with other coaches who don't really understand the value of coaching because they never trained as a coach. And their value proposition will be very different than yours is, knowing what you know about coaching and how transformational it can be. So I don't know what's going to happen in 2021. I hope that we will get past this pandemic. But in terms of the coaching market, I think that I don't think the market is saturated. A market becomes saturated when there is no demand anymore for that product or service. But the demand for coaching going forward, I think, will be even greater. But the coaching that I'm talking about is the real coaching, the one that you and I know because we have been qualified as coaches, rather than what other people call coaching, but that's not really what coaching is. So I think the coaching
Okay.
market is going to continue to grow. So I think there's definitely space for new people, for new coaches to join the market. It's just about being smart and being someone who educates the audience on what coaching means, and being able to articulate the value of what you're offering. And that's how you get clients, and how you differentiate yourself from other professionals who might call themselves coaches but they're not.
Right. So we've got 6 minutes left. Before we go, you work with coaches, build great business. As a certified coach and as accountant, how do you see yourself next year? Projection yourself as a coach, and also if someone wants to get in touch with you because we've heard about how great coaching can be, and you talk about all the most essential, critical aspect to be a successful coach. Where are you projection for next year yourself, and also what are you doing right now for the audience to take home?
So next year I got some really exciting collaborations. I'm collaborating with about 5 organizations to offer programs and courses to their alumni and to their members. These are all organizations that either are accrediting bodies, or they offer coaching training, and I come in to offer something on top of that and to talk about the business of things. So one example is I'm doing a course on this with the University of Cambridge. That's a 2-day course, and I will give you the link to that, so you can put it in the show notes or the description of the video, Eric. I'm also doing a 1-day masterclass with the Association for Coaching, which is going to happen in June 2021. And that will be a full day of talking about the essential elements of building a coaching business, but of course in a lot more detail than we were able to do here. And I am doing some other things that might not be open to the public, but only to members of certain organizations. And I'm also working with people one-to-one. Not a lot of people. I'm trying to scale back on that kind of work because of several circumstances in my life. But I also have one-to-one programs working with people who want to have access to me directly on a one-to-one basis, and who want to get my help and mentorship and coaching in building their own businesses. So you probably will, I can see you've put a lot of links in there, so you'll find you'll
Yeah.
find a lot of details about this here. But for people who want to be the first ones to know about it, or who want to be kept in um, kind of in the loop, I would suggest maybe join my newsletter, because I share there I share with my newsletter subscribers first, and then I share with the rest of the people on social media. And also people who are part of my newsletter, they get some exclusive access to bonuses and perks that I don't offer anywhere else. So probably that would be the best thing to do if they want to get in contact.
Excellent. We've got a few minutes left, but I'm going to say that honestly, I'm impressed. I last saw you at Cambridge when you came share your passionate about coaching. When I was as a student, you were alumni, you were already past student, which is also great. And I think since then, I've been watching your YouTube, which I've subscribed to that, and I find them very, very, very useful. And not useful, but as a coach, I think something that I love is one is aspect of money, because we all have the beliefs money is the root of all evil. Money is the root. And I watch a program for this is great. I think what done to that. And also, I was so pleased to hear about your AC course that you are working with them, and of course, as a tutor now at Cambridge, which of course is massive. I mean, I was so humbled to attend Cambridge University for a coaching program. I think for you to be now one of the lecturers, I think it's amazing. So congratulations to that, and I look forward to amazing 2020 2021 that I'm sure you'll be fine. Before we leave, as some of you have noticed that we are going to plan something bigger here next year, which we call it Coaching Conversation Summit 2021. I will have a lot of coaches, world-renowned coaches, I'll have again our dear good friend Alisa here again. It will be a 3 days full day summit that we will work on that. So please subscribe to our newsletter and also all the details will be sent to you on LinkedIn, Facebook, and on Instagram. So before we go, next week Christmas, which of course I'm wearing my jumper. I've got two kids. I've got a present to wrap up. I don't know how many gifts they've got, which is blessed them. I never had when I was a kid. What is your Christmas? What are you doing? Are you going to see your ex-boyfriend to have a go with him? Are you going to see your parents? Are you doing right now?
I am looking to fly to Romania tomorrow to see my parents and spend Christmas with them. And my existing boyfriend, not ex-boyfriend, is going to join us on the 23rd of December. So hopefully we will all be spending Christmas as a family, which is a tradition for us, and I really don't want to break the tradition this year. So that's what my plans are for this Christmas. What about you, Eric? What have you got planned after you wrap the presents and stop playing Santa? What's in store for you?
Well, I've got all the gifts wrapped up already. I'm working to surprise Mrs. She doesn't know yet, but just a small surprise. Because it's been a tough year for human being, for mankind. So I think is I put it on a serious note that it's best that we appreciate ourselves. Doesn't matter how small the gift is. Let me say again, we has this year, whoever you are, mankind has been tough for us. So as we end this webinar, on a serious note, please try to appreciate someone, your loved ones, your next door neighbor, your mom, your parents, your aunties, even your ex-boyfriends. And I read article written by someone, and she's a word. Ask someone, "Are you okay?" Just that note, "Are you okay?" Because it's been a tough year. And despite we talk about money on this platform, coaching business, life is important than anything. And I think this year we're all going to be locked down in our own small little homes. I mean, we are officially today self-isolated because my little girl have contraction with another someone who tests positive. So we are all isolated for 10 days. So on a serious note, wherever you are, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, please be there with someone. Make a call. Call them. Check how they are. Are they okay? A small presence. Homeless people need our help. Those on the streets need our help. And I think this Christmas has been tough. This year in general has been tough. And I'm hoping that next year we have different scope, different perspective in life. But at the same time, someone I phrase what he said. I love his book, and also of course he's a late Dr. Martin Luther King. He said that we shall overcome. That's what I always believe, that we shall overcome this pandemic. So, but wherever you are, just let you know that we shall overcome this pandemic. It's going to be tough Christmas, but have a look on beyond that. That there's always lights after tunnel. So just with that note. But on a serious note, may I wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and also may I say, use my little boy will say, what's about Christmas recording? Ho ho ho, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So Alisa, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you.
Merry Christmas to you too, and to everyone who's watching this. Happy New Year. I hope we all have a wonderful 2021. And I'm hoping to see each other again, healthier and happier next year.
Excellent. Good afternoon and stay safe.